Hello friends, welcome to Prashant IAS. So friends, in the last class we were discussing about the topic of seasons, and till now we have successfully discussed about the topic of winter solstice, or what we call as December solstice. So friends, in this class we will continue our discussion further, and as you can see on the screen, the topic of today's class is June solstice or summer solstice. So first of all, in this class I will teach you the topic of summer solstice, and after that we will discuss about the topics of spring equinox and autumn equinox. So friends, let's begin. So friends, in the last class I was explaining you the meaning of 4 seasons and the cause and the variation in seasons with the help of this diagram. So I told you that this is our sun. Okay, this is our sun in the center, and these are the diagrams of earth. Okay, and this is the orbit of earth around the sun. Okay, so this yellowish path is the orbit of earth around the sun. Okay, so and we have assumed that this is the position number 1. Okay, and then from here the earth will go here. So this is position number 2. Then from here the earth will go here, means this is position number 3. And then from here the earth will go here, means this is the position number 4 of earth in its orbit around the sun. And finally when the earth will reach at position number 4, then after that it will reach to its original position, means at position number 1. So in the last class we have discussed about the position number 1. So friends, the position number 1 is the position of December, is the position of earth in the month of December. Okay, so now I told you in the last class that in the month of December, means during December solstice or what we call as winter solstice, what happens that in northern hemisphere, so in December the northern hemisphere experiences winter. Okay, so in December solstice the northern hemisphere experiences winter, whereas the southern hemisphere experiences summer. Okay, and I also told you that why there are winters in northern hemisphere and why there are summers in the southern hemisphere. Okay, now friends, from position number 1, then earth will move to position number 2, and when the earth will reach at its position number 2, then it will be called as March equinox, or we can also call it as spring equinox. And then from position number 2 the earth will reach to position number 3. So now this position number 3, okay, so earth reaches at the position number 3 in the month of June. Okay, so what happens that the earth reaches at position number 2 in the month of March, and the earth reaches at position number 3 in the month of June, due to which this position number 2 is called as March equinox. And there is spring season, so this is also called as spring equinox. Okay, and what happens in position number 3? So in position number 3, so in the month of June the earth reaches at position number 3. Okay, so as this is the month of June, so this is called as June solstice, and there is summer season in the northern hemisphere, so we call it as summer solstice. Okay, so friends, now let us discuss about the position number 3 in a very detailed manner, and after that then I will explain you position number 2 and position number 3. Sorry, then I will explain you position number 2 and position number 4. So now let us discuss about position number 3. So friends, let's begin. So friends, this is the diagram of summer solstice, or what we call as June solstice. So you can see this is our sun and this is our earth. Okay, and these are the sun rays. Okay, so this yellowish portion is the sun rays. Okay, now you can clearly see that this red line, okay, this red line is the axis of rotation of earth. Okay, so this red line is the axis of rotation of earth. And what is this green line? So this green line is circle of illumination. Okay, and what is circle of illumination? So circle of illumination is that circle which separates the day portion of earth from night portion, or which separates the bright portion of earth from dark portion. So you can clearly see that on the right side of circle of illumination, okay, so let's suppose this is side number 1 and this is side number 2. So you can clearly see that on side number 1, which is facing the sun, the side 1 of earth which is facing the sun, on this side there is day, but on the other hand on the second side of earth, okay, there is night, because this side is not facing the sun. Okay, now friends, you can clearly see here that this is equator. Okay, so this line is our equator. You can clearly see. So let me mark it more clearly. So this is 0 degree or what we call as equator. Okay, now above equator you can clearly see that this is 23.5 degree north, means we can say that this is our Tropic of Cancer. So it is written here, this is Tropic of Cancer. Now above that, this is our 66.5 degree north, means this line is Arctic Circle. Okay, and when we will move in southern hemisphere, so we can clearly see that this is 23.5 degree south, means it is clearly written here that this is Tropic of Capricorn, and this is 66.5 degree south, means this is our Antarctic Circle. Now you can clearly see here that this is our North Pole, and you can clearly see here that this is our South Pole. So now I will explain you that what will happen in during June solstice or summer solstice. So friends, the date for summer solstice or June solstice is 21st of June. Okay, so now I will explain you that what happens on summer solstice or what happens on 21st of June. So friends, we have checked in the previous class about two things. The first thing was the angle of incidence of sun rays, and the second thing was the duration of day and duration of night on various latitudes on the surface of Earth. So first of all, we will check for the angle of incidence. Okay, means what is the angle of incidence at various equators on the surface of Earth. Okay, so these are the sun rays coming from sun. Okay, so you can see that these are the sun rays coming from sun. So now you can, okay, and this is Tropic of Cancer. So you can see that on 21st of June, the angle of incidence of sun rays and Tropic of Cancer, the angle of incidence of sun rays and Tropic of Cancer is clearly 90 degree. Okay, now what does it mean? So it means that on 21st of June, or we can say that on summer solstice or June solstice, what happens? That the angle of incidence of sun rays is 90 degree for Tropic of Cancer. Now what does it mean? So it means that sun rays are falling vertically. Sun rays are falling just overhead. Okay, sun rays are falling exactly vertically, or sun rays are falling at an angle of 90 degree at the Tropic of Cancer. Okay, now after that you can clearly see that when we move from Tropic of Cancer to equator. Okay, so when you will move from Tropic of Cancer to equator, then the angle of incidence of sun rays is little bit less. Okay, so angle of incidence of sun rays decreases when we will move from Tropic of Cancer to equator. Now similar to that, let's suppose friends that this is let's suppose 40 degree. Let me draw it more clearly. So let's suppose that this is 40 degree north parallel of latitude. Okay, so you can clearly check here that for 40 degree north parallel of latitude, the angle of incidence of sun rays is less than that at the Tropic of Cancer. Okay, so for example, let's suppose that the angle of incidence of sun rays at 40 degree north parallel of latitude is 70 degree. Okay, now similarly let us suppose that the angle of incidence of sun rays at equator is also 70 degree. Okay, now what does it mean? So you can clearly see here, and friends, when you will move from equator to South Pole, okay, so when you will move from equator to South Pole, then what will happen? Then angle of incidence of sun rays will further decrease. Okay, so when you will move from Tropic of Cancer to North Pole, then also what will happen? That the angle of incidence of sun rays will decrease. Now similar to that, when you will move from Tropic of Cancer to equator and then from equator to South Pole, then what will happen? That the angle of incidence of sun rays will decrease. Okay, now if we will check in northern hemisphere, then you can clearly see here that the angle of incidence is between the angle of incidence is 90 degree for Tropic of Cancer. Okay, and even though the angle of incidence is decreasing as we are moving from Tropic of Cancer to North Pole, or as the angle of incidence is decreasing when we are moving from Tropic of Cancer to equator, then also the angle of incidence of sun rays is more. The angle of incidence of sun rays is high in northern hemisphere when we will compare it with southern hemisphere. Why? Because you can clearly see that at equator only the angle of incidence of sun rays is, for example, 70 degree. So it means that when we will move from equator to south pole, when we will move from equator to south pole, so the angle of incidence of sun rays will decrease further, means it will be less than 70 degree. Okay, but for north pole it is highest, means I'm sorry, not I was not saying north pole, I was saying northern hemisphere. Okay, so but for northern hemisphere it is highest at the tropic of Cancer. So you can see that at tropic of Cancer the angle of incidence of sun rays is 90 degree. Okay, and so you can clearly say that for this reason, means for the reason from tropic of Cancer to equator, and from this reason also, means from the region of tropic of Cancer to 40 degree north parallel of latitude, you can say that the angle of incidence of sun rays is between 90 degree to 70 degree. Okay, for northern hemisphere. And when we will move from 40 degree to 90 degree north, means when we will move from 40 degree north parallel of latitude to the north pole, then what will happen? Then the angle of incidence of sun rays will become even less than 70 degree. Okay, but when we will examine it for southern hemisphere, then for southern hemisphere when we will move from, okay, so when we will move from equator to south pole, when we will move from equator to south pole, then the angle of incidence will be less than 70 degree. Okay, means let's suppose for the tropic of Capricorn. Okay, so if we will examine for the tropic of Capricorn, then you can say that let's suppose for the tropic of Capricorn the angle of incidence of sun rays is only 40 degrees. Okay, so the angle of incidence of sun rays is how much? Angle of incidence of sun rays is let for example is 40 degree for the tropic of Capricorn. Okay, so these are not the absolute numbers, means I'm not saying that it is 40 degree, but I was just giving an example. I'm just giving an example so that all of you can understand. Okay, so what I want to explain you is that the angle of incidence of sun rays, okay, the angle of incidence of sun rays is very high. It is very high, means it is close to 90 degree in northern hemisphere. Okay, it is very high, it is close to 90 degree in northern hemisphere, whereas if we will check it for southern hemisphere, then it is very less, it is very low for southern hemisphere. Okay, so for northern hemisphere what happens, that the angle of incidence of sun rays is close to 90 degree, it is very high. Okay, means the sun rays are falling vertically, the sun rays are more vertical. But if we will check for southern hemisphere, then what will happen? Then you will find that the angle of incidence of sun rays is very less for the southern hemisphere. Okay, so the angle of incidence is close to 0 degree. It means the angle of incidence is very less. Or we can also say that the sun rays are falling slantly. Sun rays are slant in southern hemisphere. So friends, in the last class I told you that if the sun rays are vertical, means if they are close to 90 degree, then they produce more heat. Okay, or what happens that if sun rays are close to 90 degree, if the angle of incidence of sun rays is close to 90 degree, then the surface is heated more. Okay, but whereas if the angle of incidence of sun rays is near to 0 degree, means if they are more slant, then they produce very less heat. Okay, means they heat the surface very less. Now due to which what happens, that the surface becomes very hot. The surface becomes very hot in northern hemisphere, whereas the surface becomes cold in southern hemisphere. Okay, so in southern hemisphere surface becomes cold, and in northern hemisphere the surface becomes hot. Now friends, after this let us discuss about the second thing. So the second thing was the duration of day. Okay, the duration of day and night in southern hemisphere and northern hemisphere. So first of all, okay, you can clearly see that this green line is the circle of illumination, means this green line is separating the day portion from night portion. Now first of all let us check for equator. So when we will see for equator, then you can clearly see here that the portion of day and the portion of night is equal, means on June solstice, means in the month of June also, equator will experience 12 hours day and 12 hours night. Okay, Now let us compare it. Let us discuss for Tropic of Cancer. So when you will look for Tropic of Cancer, then you can clearly see here, friends, that the portion of day under day, okay, the portion of Earth, the portion of Tropic of Cancer, the portion of Tropic of Cancer under day is more as compared to the portion of Tropic of Cancer under night. Okay, now what does it mean? So it means that at Tropic of Cancer, what will happen, that the duration of day will be longer than the duration of night. Okay, the duration of day will be longer than the duration of night. Now let us compare for 40° north parallel of latitude. Okay, so let's suppose that this is 40° north parallel of latitude. So when we will compare for 40° north parallel of latitude, then we can say that here the duration of day is even more than the duration of night. Okay, so for 40° north parallel of latitude, what will happen, that the day is even longer than night. Okay, so what we can observe here, so here we can clearly observe that as we are moving from equator, okay, as first of all we can observe here that as we are moving from equator to north pole, okay, as we are moving from equator to north pole, then what is happening, that the duration of day is becoming more and more long. The duration of day is becoming longer than the duration of night. Okay, so the first conclusion we can make from this story is that for entire northern hemisphere, the duration of day is longer than the duration of night. And the second conclusion we can make is that as we are going from equator to north pole, okay, as we are, or we can say, okay, so as we are going from equator to north pole, then what is happening, that the duration of day is becoming longer and longer as compared to the duration of night. For example, here you can see that at Tropic of Cancer, means at 23.5° north, the day is longer than night. But when we will see at 40° north, then the day is even more longer than night. Okay, the duration of day is even more longer than the duration of night. Okay, so what conclusion we can draw? So the second conclusion is that as we will move from equator to north pole, then the duration of day will become longer and longer as compared to the duration of night. Okay, now friends, let us discuss about third thing. So here you can see that this is Arctic Circle. This line is Arctic Circle. Okay, means this is 66.5° north. So you can clearly see here that the entire region beyond the Arctic Circle, means this region, the entire region beyond the Arctic Circle is only experiencing day, means there is no night. So the third conclusion is that from 66.5° north to 90° north, okay, means from Arctic Circle to North Pole, this entire region will experience 24 hours of day, means there will be no night. So this is our study for Northern Hemisphere. Now in the similar way, let us discuss about Southern Hemisphere also. So friends, in Southern Hemisphere, first of all, let us discuss for Tropic of Capricorn. Okay, so for equator, we know that the duration of day is equal to the duration of night, means they are of 12 hours. But let us now discuss for the Tropic of Capricorn. Tropic of Capricorn means 23.5° south. So this is the portion of Tropic of Capricorn under day. Okay. And this is the portion of Tropic of Capricorn under night. Okay. So you can clearly see that the portion of Tropic of Capricorn under night is more than the portion of Tropic of Capricorn under day. Now what does it mean? It means that for Tropic of Capricorn, means for 23.5° south, we can conclude that the duration of day is less than the duration of night, means days are shorter and nights are longer. Now friends, after this, let's say that this is 40° south parallel of latitude. Now for 40° south parallel of latitude, you can clearly see here that the portion of day is even smaller and the portion of night is even longer. Okay, so now for 40° south parallel of latitude, what you can conclude? So we can conclude that here the duration of day is even shorter and here the duration of night is even longer. Okay, so nights are becoming longer and longer. So what conclusion we can draw from this story? So from this story we can draw a conclusion that when we will move from equator to south pole, then what will happen, that the nights will become longer and longer and the days will become shorter and shorter. Means the duration of night is long and the duration of day is short. Okay, so when you will move from equator to south pole, then the duration of day will become longer and longer, and the when you will move from equator to south pole, then the duration of night will become longer and longer, and the duration of day will become shorter and shorter. So the first conclusion we can draw from this story is that the duration of night is long. Okay, for entire southern hemisphere, the duration of night is long and the duration of day is short. Okay. Now the second conclusion we can draw here is that you can clearly see that for Tropic of Capricorn, okay, we can say that for Tropic of Capricorn, the duration of day is shorter than the duration of night. But for 40 degrees south parallel of latitude, the duration of day is even more less. The duration of day is even more less as compared to the duration of night. Okay, means when we will move from equator to south pole, so the duration of day will become shorter and shorter. For example, the day is even shorter at 40 degrees south latitude than Tropic of Capricorn. Okay, so we can compare that the duration of day is even shorter, is even more short. Okay, it is even shorter at 40 degrees south parallel of latitude as compared to the Tropic of Capricorn. Okay, so when we will move from equator to south pole, then what will happen? That the nights will become even more long. The nights will become longer and longer, and the days will become shorter and shorter. This is the second conclusion. Now, what third conclusion we can draw from this story? So friends, this is Antarctic Circle. Antarctic Circle means 66.5 degrees south parallel of latitude. Now you can see here that the entire region from Antarctic Circle to South Pole, this entire region is not experiencing day. This entire region is totally experiencing night. So the third conclusion we can draw that from 66.5 degrees south to 90 degree south, means from Antarctic Circle to South Pole, what will happen? That this entire region will experience 24 hours of night. Okay, so this entire region will experience 24 hours of night on June solstice. Now friends, till now we have discussed both the conditions. So what conclusion we can draw from both the conditions? So now let us summarize the first condition. So in the first case, we saw that what happened in northern hemisphere. So we saw that in northern hemisphere what happened, that the angle of incidence of sun rays, is more close to 90 degree. Means the angle of incidence of sun rays is more close to 90 degree, means sun rays are more vertical for entire northern hemisphere. Okay, and for southern hemisphere we saw that the angle of incidence of sun rays is more close to 0 degree. It means that the sun rays are more slant. Okay, so as the sun rays are more vertical for northern hemisphere, it means the northern hemisphere will receive more heat and the southern hemisphere will receive very less heat during the month of June. Okay, now what was the second thing? So now the second thing we discussed here is that for entire northern hemisphere, the duration of day is much longer than the duration of night. And for entire southern hemisphere, we have discussed that the duration of day is shorter than the duration of night. Okay, so now here we can see that the sun rays, as the angle of incidence of sun rays is more close to 90 degree for northern hemisphere. It means that these sun rays are producing more heating effect, means these sun rays are hitting the surface more in northern hemisphere. Okay, so this is the first thing, and the second thing is that the northern hemisphere is experiencing the sun rays for a longer duration. The northern hemisphere is experiencing the sun rays for longer duration. So first of all, the sun rays are giving more heat to northern hemisphere, and the second thing is that the northern hemisphere is facing the sun rays for more duration. Okay, and for southern hemisphere we can say that the sun rays are giving less heat to southern hemisphere, and the second thing is that the duration is also less, means the northern hemisphere is facing the sun rays for less duration. Now it means that the southern hemisphere will become very hot and the northern hemisphere will become very hot. Okay, why? Because first of all, the sun rays are hitting northern hemisphere more, and secondly, the northern hemisphere is experiencing sun rays for more duration. So due to which the northern hemisphere will become very hot. Okay. And on the other hand, the southern hemisphere is receiving less heat from sun rays and it is facing sun rays for less duration. So it will become cold. Okay. So friends, as northern hemisphere is very hot, so we can say that the northern hemisphere is experiencing summer season. Okay, so this is the main characteristic of summer season, means summer season is very hot. So as northern hemisphere is hot, so it means that northern hemisphere is facing summer season. Now the southern hemisphere is cold, it is experiencing cold, so it means that there is winter season in southern hemisphere. Okay, so in June solstice, okay, what happens that during June solstice, what happens that northern hemisphere experiences summer season and the southern hemisphere experiences winter season. So friends, now we have successfully discussed about position number 1 and position number 2. So the position number 1 is actually called as December solstice and it happens on 22nd of December. Now the date may vary, so please don't stick to one date. Okay. And date is not very important for us. Okay. Because we are, okay. So if you are preparing for UPSC, so the date is not very important for us. Now, second thing is that the third position is called as June solstice and the date is 21st of June. And I have also told you that in December solstice, what happens that the northern hemisphere experiences winter season and the southern hemisphere experiences summer season. Okay. Now, the second thing is that in June solstice, what happens that the northern hemisphere experiences summer season. Okay, the northern hemisphere experiences summer season and the the southern hemisphere experiences winter season. Okay, now friends, two positions are left. So now we have to discuss about the March equinox, which is also called as spring equinox, and then we have to discuss about autumn equinox or September equinox, which is also known as autumn equinox. Now friends, I want to ask one very question from you. So my question is that during December solstice, or we can say that in the month of December, why, okay, so why, what is the most basic reason? Okay, I am not asking you the detailed reason. I have explained you the detailed reason. But I am asking you that what is the most basic reason that why the northern hemisphere is experiencing winter season and the southern hemisphere is experiencing summer season. Similarly, during the month of June, means at June solstice, why the northern hemisphere experiences summer season and why the southern hemisphere experiences winter season. So I have explained you the detailed meaning in a very detailed manner, but I want to know that what is the basic meaning. Okay, or if I say that just tell me the reason in one word, or just tell me the reason in one sentence, in one line, that why this happens, then can you give me the answer? So kindly pause this video and give your answer in the comment section. Then I will tell you. So friends, the most basic reason is that due on December solstice, okay, or in the month of December, what happens that the northern hemisphere is tilted away from sun. Okay, the northern hemisphere is tilted away from sun. So this is our sun and we can say that the face of northern hemisphere is away from sun. Okay, whereas what happens in December, in the month of December, that the southern hemisphere is tilted towards the sun. So you can say, you can clearly see here that the southern hemisphere is facing the sun and northern hemisphere is not facing the sun. Okay, so as the northern hemisphere is away from sun, that's why it experiences less heat. That's why it gets less heat and it becomes cold and it experiences winter. On the other hand, as the southern hemisphere is tilted towards the sun, as the southern hemisphere is towards the sun, so it gets more heat, due to which okay, so southern hemisphere is towards the sun, it is facing the sun, that's why it gets the more heat and there is summer season. Okay, and there is summer season in the southern hemisphere. Now if we will discuss for June solstice or for the month of June, then the same reason is here also, that here we can clearly see that the northern hemisphere is facing the sun, the northern hemisphere is tilted towards the sun. Okay, so what sentence I am using? I am using that the northern hemisphere is tilted towards the sun, northern hemisphere is tilted towards the sun. Okay, means it is facing the sun, due to which it receives more heat and it becomes hot and it experiences summer season. But if we will discuss for southern hemisphere, then we can clearly see that what is happening for southern hemisphere, that it is tilted. Okay, take my words carefully, listen to my words carefully, that it is tilted away from sun. Okay, it is tilted away from the sun. Okay, so the northern hemisphere is tilted towards the sun, and as southern hemisphere is tilted away from the sun, so it gets less heat, due to which it becomes cold and it experiences winter season. So friends, now again I want to ask one question from you. So now my question is that during equinoxes, means in the month of March, or we can say at 21st of March, on 21st of March and on 23rd of December. Okay, so 21st of March is basically known as March equinox or spring equinox, and 23rd of December, 23rd of September, 23rd of September is basically known as autumn equinox or September equinox. Okay, means here we are discussing for position number 2 and position number 4. So now my question is that in position number 2 or at March equinox, which part of earth is tilted towards the sun and which part of earth is tilted away from sun? Okay, so these two sentences are very important. Okay, and my second question is that in on September equinox, means on 23rd of September, or we can say that in the month of September, which part of earth is tilted towards the sun? Which part of earth is tilted towards the sun and which part of earth is tilted away from sun? Okay, so are you getting my question? So my question is that at March equinox, on March equinox, which part of earth is tilted towards sun and which part of earth is tilted away from sun? So part means basically hemisphere. Okay, and similarly my second question is that on September equinox, or we can say that autumn equinox, which part or which hemisphere of earth is tilted towards the sun and which hemisphere of earth is tilted away from sun? So kindly again pause the video and give your answer in the comment section. Let us make this session more interactive. Okay, so friends, these questions were actually very simple. These were the simplest questions. Why? Because you can answer these questions by clearly seeing the diagrams. So here it is clearly visible that the northern hemisphere is tilted away from sun and the southern hemisphere is tilted towards the sun. Similarly, in the month of June, we can clearly see that the northern hemisphere is tilted towards the sun and the southern hemisphere is tilted away from sun. But when you will see the diagram of both the equinoxes, means when you will see the diagram of September equinox and March equinox, then you will find that neither the northern hemisphere is tilted towards the sun nor the southern hemisphere is tilted towards the sun. In the similar way, neither the northern hemisphere is tilted away from sun nor the southern hemisphere is tilted away from sun. Okay. Now friends, in the similar manner, when we will discuss for March equinox, then you will find that neither the northern hemisphere and nor the southern hemisphere is tilted towards the sun, and neither the southern hemisphere and neither the northern hemisphere and nor the southern hemisphere are actually tilted away from sun. Okay, so now what does it mean? So it means that in the position of equinoxes, okay, so what we can say that during equinox, what happens, that neither southern hemisphere is tilted towards the sun nor southern hemisphere is tilted away from sun. Similarly, neither the northern hemisphere is tilted towards the sun and nor the northern hemisphere is tilted away from sun. Okay, so basically the scene becomes like this. Okay, so here you can see clearly that neither the northern hemisphere is tilted towards the sun nor the northern hemisphere is tilted away from sun. Similarly, neither the southern hemisphere is tilted towards the sun and neither the southern hemisphere is tilted away from sun. So this happens on both the equinox. Okay, this happens during both the equinox, means this is the position of earth during March. This is the position of earth on March equinox as well as on September equinox. Okay, this is the position of earth on March equinox as well as on September equinox. Now friends, here I want to tell you one very important thing, that what happens, that on both the equinoxes, means on March equinox as well as on September equinox, what happens, that the position of earth is actually similar. The position of earth is similar in both the equinoxes. Okay, so what happens that there is no need to understand these equinoxes separately. Okay, so why? Because the position of earth is same, the position of earth is similar on both the equinoxes. The position of earth is same on September equinox as well as on March equinox. So there is no need to discuss these topics separately. Okay, so now I will explain you the topic of March equinox and September equinox together. Okay, and based on that I will explain you all the conditions. Now friends, here students can ask one question. Now that question which stuck into the minds of student is that, sir, in this diagram you have told us that neither hemisphere is tilted away from sun and nor neither southern hemisphere is tilted away from sun nor southern hemisphere is tilted towards the sun, and similarly neither the northern hemisphere is tilted towards the sun nor the northern hemisphere is tilted away from sun. Okay, but you told us that the axis of rotation of earth is tilted by an angle of 23.5 degree. So now where this tilt has gone? Okay, so this is a very common question which I have experienced during my experience, that the students generally ask this question, that sir, what happens, what will happen to the tilt of earth, because you told us that the axis of rotation of earth is tilted by an angle of 23.5 degree. Okay, so friends, in this position also, the axis of rotation of earth, means this axis, okay, the axis of rotation of earth is tilted. Okay, and it is tilted by the angle of 23.5 degree. But then also neither the northern hemisphere is tilted away from sun nor it is tilted towards the sun. Similarly, neither the southern hemisphere is tilted away from sun nor it is tilted towards the sun. But then also the axis of rotation of earth is tilted by 23.5 degree. Now friends, why this happens? So this generally happens because I am explaining you and you are watching this video on a two-dimensional surface, but this world is three-dimensional. Okay, so now you have to imagine. That this axis is going inside the screen. This axis is going inside the screen, and from here this is coming out of screen. So now you have to imagine an angle of 23.5 degree in such a way that this part of axis is going inside the screen. Okay, so imagine a 3D world. Imagine that this part of the axis is going inside the screen and this part of axis is coming out of screen. Okay, and when you will be able to imagine that this part of axis is going inside the screen, it is penetrating the screen and it is going inside the screen, and this part of axis is coming out of screen, this part is again penetrating the screen and it is coming towards you. Okay, so just imagine that this part of axis of earth is going away from you, it is going inside the screen, and this part, means the lower part, it is coming towards you, it is coming outside the screen towards you. Okay, then you will be easily able to imagine that in this position also the axis of rotation of earth can be tilted by an angle of 23.5 degree. Okay, so just imagine and give just give a feedback in the comment section that whether are you able to imagine this or not. So friends, in this position we can say that the axis of rotation of earth is actually parallel to sun. Okay, so when you will imagine this condition, that this part is going away from you inside the screen and this part is coming outside the screen towards you, then you will be clear, and this is the position of sun, then you will be clearly able to imagine that in this position the axis of rotation of earth is tilted by the angle of 23.5 degree, but it is parallel to sun. Okay, so now we will say, now we have to check again the two conditions. So the first condition is the angle of incidence of sun ray at various angles. Okay, so this is equator, so we can clearly see that here at the equator what is happening, that the angle of incidence of sun rays is 90 degree. Okay, now when we will move from equator to north pole and when we will move from equator to south pole, then what will happen, that the angle of incidence of sun rays will decrease. Okay, so the angle of incidence of sun rays will decrease when we will move from equator to north pole and from equator to north pole and from equator to south pole. Okay, Now friends, this is Tropic of Cancer and this is Tropic of Capricorn. Means this is 23.5 degree north and this is 23.5 degree south. So now you can clearly see that for this position, means for Tropic of Cancer, okay, and for Tropic of Capricorn, the angle of incidence of sun rays is same. Okay, so you can roughly see here. Okay, I am not telling you any measurement. Okay, but I am roughly telling you, and you can roughly see in this diagram that the angle of incidence of sun ray, is roughly same for Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. Okay, now let us suppose friends that this is 40 degree north parallel of latitude and this is 40 degree south parallel of latitude. Now when we will check for 40, okay, and let's suppose the sun rays are coming like this. Okay, so sun rays are coming like this. So when we will check for 40 degree north and 40 degree south, then again we will find that the angle of incidence of sun rays is same for 40 degree north and for 40 degree south parallel of latitude. So what conclusion can we draw from this story? Okay, and when we will check for poles, so you can clearly see that for North Pole and for South Pole, the angle of incidence of sun rays is minimum. Okay, for North Pole and for South Pole, the angle of incidence of sun rays is actually 0 degree. Okay, it is 0 degree for South Pole as well as it is 0 degree for North Pole. Okay, but here the main thing is that we are, okay, so what conclusion we can draw? So the first conclusion we can draw from this story is that at equator, the angle of incidence of sun rays is 90 degree. So the equator receives maximum heat on equinoxes. The equator receives maximum heat on March equinox as well as on September equinox. Okay, and when we will move from equator to North Pole or from equator to South Pole, okay, so when we will move from equator to North Pole or from equator to South Pole, then what happens, that the angle of incidence of sun rays continuously decreases. Okay, and for same latitudes in both the hemisphere, the angle of incidence of sun rays is same. For example, for 10 degree north and for 10 degree south, for 40 degree north and for 40 degree south, for 66.5 degree north and for 66.5 degree south, the angle of incidence of sun rays is same. Okay, so what conclusion can we draw from this story? So from this story we can say that on March equinox and on September equinox, means on both the equinoxes, both the hemisphere receives same amount of heat. Okay, so both the hemisphere receives same amount of heat on both the equinoxes. Now friends, after this let us discuss about second situation, or the second thing is the duration of day. Okay, so here we have to see about the duration of day, that what is the duration of day at various latitudes. Okay, so now here we can see that in the green color, here I am drawing the circle of illumination. Okay, so this is the circle of illumination, means it is separating the day portion from night portion. So first of all, at equator we can say that the length of day and length of night is equal. Okay, so at equator the length of day is equal to the length of night. Okay, now for Tropic of Cancer, okay, so now first of all we will check for the northern hemisphere. So when we will check for Tropic of Cancer, then again we can say that the duration of day is equal to duration of night. And when we will check for 40 degree, then also we can say that the duration of day is equal to duration of night. And we will check, when we will check for Arctic Circle, means for 66.5 degree north, then also we can say that the duration of day is equal to duration of night. So friends, we can conclude that for entire northern hemisphere, the duration of day is equal to duration of night on both the equinoxes. Okay, means on March equinox and on September equinox, means on 21st of March and on 23rd of September. Now friends, after that let us discuss about the southern hemisphere. So here we can see that for Tropic of Capricorn, the duration of day and night is equal. For 40 degree south parallel of latitude, also the duration of day and night is equal. For Antarctic Circle, means for 66.5 degree south also, the duration of day is equal to the duration of night. Okay, so what conclusion here we can draw? So from this story we can draw the conclusion that for southern hemisphere also, for south hemisphere also, the duration of day is equal to duration of night. Okay, so we have seen here that for northern hemisphere the duration of day and night is equal, for equator the duration of day and night is equal, and for southern hemisphere the duration of day and night is equal. So it means that on both the equinoxes, means on September equinox and on March equinox, what happens that the duration of day is equal to the duration of night for all the latitudes on the surface of earth. So on both the equinoxes, means on 21st of March and on 23rd of September, the earth experiences equal day and equal night for all the latitudes. So entire earth experiences same length of day and same length of night. Now friends, let us draw some conclusions on this entire story. So first of all, let us discuss for 21st of March, means for March equinox. So we have seen here that the entire earth, okay, so we have seen here that the duration of day is equal to the duration of night for all the latitudes. Okay, and the second thing is that the angle of incidence, okay, the angle of incidence is equal for northern hemisphere and for southern hemisphere for same latitudes. Okay, so it means that for both the hemisphere, okay, means for same latitudes. Okay, so let's suppose let's say 40 degree north. So the angle of incidence will be same for 40 degree north and for 40 degree south. Okay, so we can say that both the hemispheres are receiving same amount of heat. Okay, first of all, both the hemispheres are receiving same amount of heat, and secondly they are receiving this heat for same duration. So it means that the weather conditions are not extreme, weather conditions are not very different in northern and southern hemisphere. Okay, so the weather conditions are very balanced. Okay, means neither the weather is too hot nor the weather is too cold. The weather conditions are balanced. Okay, now friends, in the month of March there is spring season. In the month of March there is spring season in northern hemisphere, and there is actually autumn season in southern hemisphere. Okay, so as there is spring season in northern hemisphere and there is autumn season in southern hemisphere, so the March equinox is also called as spring equinox. Okay, now friends, after this on 23rd of September the conditions are reversed. So what happens that the northern hemisphere actually experiences autumn season. The northern hemisphere experiences autumn season and the southern hemisphere experiences spring season. Okay, now as the northern hemisphere is experiencing autumn season, so the 23rd of September is also called as autumn equinox. Okay friends, here I want to tell you one more very important thing, and that thing is that these seasons, okay, or these equinoxes and these actually solstices are named after the season which the northern hemisphere is experiencing. Okay, for example, what happens that in the month of December, okay, so what happened in the month of December that the northern hemisphere experiences winter season and the southern hemisphere experiences summer season. Okay, so as there is winter season in the northern hemisphere, so December solstice is also known as winter solstice. Okay, now similar to that, what happens in the month of June? So in the month of June the conditions are reversed, means now the northern hemisphere faces summer season. Okay, and the southern hemisphere experiences winter season in the month of June. Okay, so the 21st of June, is actually called as summer solstice. Why? Because the northern hemisphere is experiencing summer season. Okay, now similar to that on 23rd of September, what happens that basically in the month of September the northern hemisphere experiences autumn season, due to which it is also known as autumn equinox. Okay, now similar to that on 21st of March, what happens that in the month of March the northern hemisphere experiences spring season. So the 21st of March is also known as spring equinox. Friends, now the last thing is left about this topic. So you have seen that what happens on December solstice, okay, or on winter solstice. So you have seen that on winter solstice what happens that at equator, okay, so if you will watch the previous lecture, then I taught you that on December solstice on equator, the duration of day is equal to the duration of night. Okay, now similar to that, I told you that on June solstice, means on 21st of June, what happens that at equator, okay, what happens at equator, that the duration of day is equal to the duration of night. Okay, now friends, just now I told you that on March equinox, okay, now on March equinox, what happens that on equator, the duration of day is equal to the duration of night. Now similar to that, on September equinox, okay, so basically on September equinox also, the equator, on equator, the duration of day is equal to the duration of night. Okay, so what conclusion we can draw from this story? So from this story, you can conclude that for equator, okay, on equator, what happens that the duration of day always remains equal to the duration of night. Okay, so on equator we always experiences 12 hours day and 12 hours night. Okay, so this is a very important thing, and question can be asked from this thing also. Okay, so equator is the only portion on the surface of the earth which always experiences for all the 365 days 12 hours day and 12 hours night. Now friends, last thing I want to say that these dates may vary, so there is no need to memorize these dates, but you can roughly remember that the 22nd of December is known as winter solstice or December solstice. 21st of March is known as March equinox or spring equinox. 21st of June is known as June solstice or summer solstice, and 23rd of September is known as September equinox or autumn equinox. Okay, so the dates may vary, so these dates are not important for us. Okay, and you may find different dates in different places. Okay, so friends, now this topic is completed. So friends, I hope that you all must have enjoyed the lecture, and if you have enjoyed the lecture, then please like the video, comment, subscribe the channel, press the bell icon and select all. Now we will meet in next class with a fresh topic. Till then, stay healthy, stay indoors, take care of yourself. Thank you.